stake with a 10-2 record right now. Both of them playing and pushing to get into that all-exclusive top 8 finish. So you're going to be seeing how this one is going to play out. And Philip does not.
He's shaking his head. Is he playing with us and with Emre, or is that really a hand that doesn't offer much place? I mean, pre-preparation, right? I don't know whether I would shake my hand to that, but there is Ghostbound on mention. This would have been a bluff of all time, because, I mean, if you shake your hand when seeing your first 5 cards, Emre is so incentivized to use that Ghost Spell on the pre-preparation of rides, followed up by Aramasa, so we still find the way into our Habakiri. So maybe Philip, as experienced as he is, as successful as he is at the moment, was just playing with Emre there.
Yeah, absolutely, because this is a very good start indeed. The pre-prep and then having access to the Habakiri. We see the Fuvalos indeed, but we know that the Mitsurugi strategy can still play around that. And what better card than Call by the Grave to play around it? This is of course very, very good here. We have the Habakiri which will resolve, and we are in a very good position here for Philip, because we'll not only have access to the Mitsurugi part, but also to the Yami strategy probably after that. So yeah, pretty good position here for Philippe, considering the fact that Emre used 2 cards from his hand and did not do a whole lot.
Yeah, I also like that Philippe adjusted his deck over time, because we all remember him being so successful at YCS Lille with the pure version of the Mitsurugi deck. But then at German Open, he also told me that in the winners interview over there, he was like, yeah, the pure version, it just doesn't do it anymore. It doesn't have enough pushes. I had to add the Yummy cards. He was successful with those Yummy cards as well, then at German Open, taking it all undefeated, and he's still with those Yummy cards also here. And we have seen it plenty of times since Lille. There is an easy bridge between the Mitsurugi cards and those Yummy cards. I mean, you have to get somewhat lucky, but honestly, when you're sending 4 cards from your deck to the graveyard with Zombie Vampire, the chances of you seeing a Yummy card are so high. But there is a Bestial Magnamut, and Philip shakes his head. 3 pieces of interaction here from Emre. 1 has been stopped, but this looks massive because no Zombie Vampire anymore for Philip.
Absolutely, this is absolutely crucial here from Emre, and Philip like shaking his head because he wants to get access to those Yummy cards thanks to the Zombie Vampire, but you need to have those 2 monsters on the field, and in this situation he does not have access to it. The Murakumo is not there anymore, and Emre will on top of that be able to add a dragon from the deck to the hand, which will allow him to get some more resources for the next turn.
Yeah, this has been absolutely amazingly crafted from both Philip and Emery. We thought that maybe with the head shake of Philip, it would just be 1 single interaction that would do it, but he has tried to power through as much as he possibly can. We're now going to be trying to move over to Emery. Emery is possibly going to be searching out a Dracotail Mululu.
Totally.
He is still in the end phase, does go with that Mululu, as it is of course a dragon monster. And I think Emre, he always is so smiley. He never seems like he could do any harm, but he has done some severe harm to the turn of Philip there, as Philip, with usually the best combo deck in the room, has ended on the single Aspie Little Knight after all those interruptions that Emre threw away. But there's a battle phase, clearing the Little Knight first, making sure that our Mululu possibly can go uninterrupted in main phase 2 then.
And yeah, that's a very good situation here for Emre, getting rid of the SP Little Knight and activating Branded Fusion right away. So he will just get so many resources out of this Branded Fusion, and Philip cannot do a whole lot about that. That's kind of hard for him right now. We talked about the fact that Mitsurugi Yumi was able to play through so many interruptions, but here, 3 of them is of course a whole lot, and that shows the strengths of the Dracotail strategy.
Ooh, look at that. Very often you see Albion being summoned from that, but usually it is not Albion the Sanctifier Dragon, but that's the one that Emre chooses here to summon out off of that Branded Fusion. We now go for Lucius. It's all looking easy and good for him.
Yeah,
and totally. See the hand there from Philip against so many matchups. You desperately want the Troll and Lockbird, but we gotta face it against
doesn't
this
do anything.
deck specifically.
It's
that's not really the case.
Philip's side that I highly expect will be coming into this particular type of matchup. So we're going to see if he gets any luck with there. We can see straight away that he has gained direct access to his Yummy strategy, and we're going to see that kick off right now.
Starting off with the Marshmallow Yummy, and not only there is a way from your Mitsurugi cards to your Yummy cards, but it also works the other way around due to the existence of that Herald of the Arclight, which I'm sure we are going to see here. But first of all, that Marshmallow Yummy makes way for Yummy Snatchy.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is a very good start, obviously, because we don't use here the normal summon on the side of Philip, which is of course pretty cool, but we still have the Magnamut, and look at that, Philip smiling, he's laughing, but he doesn't like that, of course. We are not going to be able to use the field spell to try to revive this this monster, but we have access to the Lollipop, and we're going to get access to the Synchro too, which is of course very good. We will have the Cup C, which will resolve. So we'll have some more engine, and for now we only see the Yummy, but as you just said, there is some very easy bridges to go into the other part of the deck, and it's going to be very interesting if to see if Emery has something to just cut this other part of the deck.
Yeah, and with the Mitsurugi Yummy deck, it's actually not that many Yummy monsters you're playing in the main deck anymore. Very often you only see the triple Marshmallow and then only one of each of the smaller ones, like one Lollipop, one Capsi, and therefore we are only just searching another Marshmallow here, which we discard. Okay, which is fair because the other one is banished at this point, and then we can get that Capsi onto the field. But what now from here on out, Philip? You know your own deck inside out, but now with that Magnamut interrupting with your plans early on, can you still produce a combo that is worthwhile?
And it's going to be very interesting to see if Emery has something more, because we saw 3 interruptions during the last game. Of course, it was what you want against the Yumi Mitsurugi strategy, because it is so powerful, so strong, it can go through so many things. You want to have a lot of them, because one of them is not gonna prevent them from playing the game. So it's gonna be very cool.
Okay.
See?
For a moment it looked like he was passing or something like that, but sure enough he does
of course not.
And look at that. Before those lines into the Mitsurugi engine were figured out, you would be like, okay, that's just Herald pass, but we just link off that Herald of Arclight in the extra monster zone into Gravity Controller, and guess what? There is all of a sudden an Havakiri in the hand, maybe the most powerful ritual monster to ever be created, and that's going to lead to a very, very flourishing way here for Philip.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing to watch this because Philip is staying calm and collected, so is Emery. It's always going to be a battle of the minds and the wits at the exact same time. And you can kind of see that there are positions where Philip kind of thinks about the type of plays he could make. What is the most risky? Does he have to take the riskiest route? Because if Emery does have an interaction at that particular point, it might derail the plays. But being able to know exactly how you can adapt and push through and continue to move is going to be pivotal in this one. And like I said, Emery is just staring down this field, not even taking a blink.
Yeah, absolutely, but if he doesn't have anything, it's going to be very hard, to be honest, to just go through that field, because of course it is very, very strong once it's there with the Murakumo and all the Yummy cards. It can be very, very difficult, but Emery at least is going to have access to another card at the end of the turn, which is of course pretty cool, which will give him 6 cards at the beginning of his turn to try to break the field.
Yeah, and I have to say, there is still a debate going on for all the Mitsurugi Yummy players, how to best play the deck. Are you going to play a minimal Mitsurugi package with just only the Saji and then no Futsu, or are you going a little bigger? Are you also going to run that Futsu and then Kusanagi and Aramasa? And as we see here, Philip maybe ending that debate here this weekend by showing us that playing the bigger full package is possibly the best way you can do, and maybe that is going to be the guideline moving forward for this deck as well. Go Yummy Surprise, summons back the Marshmallow. Marshmallow gives the Yummy Surprise back basically for free. And now, as Gravity Controller is a Link 1, we can just easily use it here for a Synchro Summon. It still feels weird saying that. We're using a Link 1 for a Synchro Summon, but that's how Yummy does. That's how it goes. And we make way for the next Synchro monster here.
Especially because usually Gravity Controller, when it's there, it doesn't leave the field that easily. But yeah, I always like the fact that you're able to get very creative with those bridges, and the fact that you can just get some archetypes working very well together. I really like that. The fact that Zombie Vampire in the extra monster zone, you can just get into a Gravity Controller, which is a Link 1, and then you go into your Synchro plays. This is so cool to watch. And here, Philip is just showcasing how strong this deck is, even with the presence of the Magnamut. He shows that you can still have a very, very strong field.
Yeah, I think there's still loads more to be seen from Philip, and Emre is not going to be giving this one up without a fight as well. What I also do like about the Mitsurugi strategy, and it's kind of something utilising the more chummies, is mainly they are used as hand interactions. But what I really like about the Yummy strategy is you can use it as not your best starter, but it can become a starter to go into a link one like Salamangreat Almirage. But we're going to see all of this keep pushing through, ending on that all-important Herald of the Art Light, and still continue to go.
Ooh, and even food, so we got the full setup here.
Yeah.
You might be wondering, wasn't that Herald of Arclight used for the Link summon of that gravity controller? But thanks to that Shamisen Samsara Sorrowcat, we were able to put it back into the extra deck, and now afterwards synchro summon it for a second time.
And that's obviously very strong, because the Herald of Arclight is of course an Omni-Negate, but also it prevents Emre from putting some cards from the deck and hand to the graveyard, and you want those monsters to get into the graveyard. So you first have to get rid of the Herald, and this is not an easy task.
Yeah, and it doesn't end there. I told you it's a bigger Mitsurugi package in the deck of Philip, and we were even going that far saying we're playing the Great Purification in the main deck actually, which is definitely something interesting to see here. There's a Link summon coming our way now to the perfect setup. It's looking dreamy here for Philip. Puts every single card from his hand into his spell and trap zone. This is massive.
Yeah, Emre will need a lot of luck to just go through all of this, and he's gonna need the perfect combination. During the last game, he had a perfect combination with a lot of interruptions, and as well as some very strong engine, thanks to the Burn Diffusion. But this time, I mean, he's gonna need like 6 perfect cards.
And he's going to start it off with Malulu. Okay, we searched for Urgula because we had the Malulu already in hand. Okay. No response from Philip's side. Branded Fusion once more. I think if you play Ultimate Rare Branded Fusion, you're going to draw it twice as often. And Emre has drawn it both games now as well.
But you have to be scared of those cards face down, of course, which are some more interruptions. And what can we expect from those cards? There might be something like maybe... Can we expect something like Infinite Impermanence or Forbidden Droplet or those cards?
We could. I think 2 of them are definitely safe to say that it's going to be the Great Purification and Yummy Surprise. Besides that, what else could we have? I think Infinite Impermanence could be something. Maybe. Called by the Grave, yeah. Also, Crossout Designator could go into the same category because both of them could have not really interacted with the Bestial Magna mood that Emre was using, and that Crossout Designator, yeah, also now can't really hit too many things. So it will be interesting to see whether Philip will even have the chance to activate those other 2 cards there in the Spell Trap Zone. Okay, resolving Branded Fusion, and of course, as the Herald is still face up on the field, cards from the deck, monsters from the deck will have to be banished instead of going into the graveyard, which now, when we summon out Rebellion, though, is not that big of a deal, but we do not even go for that. But
once again, we use the Sanctifier, and that's very interesting to go into that monster specifically.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting with Sanctifier because it can't be targeted, but the biggest difference with some of the Mitsurugi cards, and this is where it gives you a little bit edge over a pure Yummy strategy, is they just don't need to target.
That's true, that Murakumo could still get rid of it, but Philip... Do we go after this Sanctifier here? Is Emre maybe announcing the end of main phase? Trying to go after that Herald. Oh, Philip, look, he's going back deep into that thinking tank. We already know that pose from YCS Leah. We can barely even see him anymore in the face cam because he's just so in the zone.
Yeah, just checking exactly how many cards Emery has left in the hand, just to kind of calculate how many interactions he may have or how much further he can push. It's trying to starve off a bit of the resource here. We've already lost at Dracotail, Frixel getting to banished, and it looks like we're going to get some form of reaction here from Philip. There's a lot of set cards there, and it's going to be Purification, and Emery scoops it up from that point on.
Those 2 players, Philip and Emery, trying to get their 11th victory over here and to stay alive in that long-awaited run for the top 8. And we are starting actually with the 5 mana right away, fusing another 5 mana and also an Urgula. So pretty good start here because we are going to get access to all the resources. We summon the Arsalian, and we'll probably just get access to the K2 and the Rau.
I mean, this going uninterrupted is then, as a result, pretty decent because it gets us playing. It's not the most optimal start though, right? Because usually you want to have 5 mana on the hand to chain it to a possible Muchami Fuvalos or something like that, but using it as your first action really makes you vulnerable to those cards. But luckily enough here for Emre, Philip apparently no intention of using any of those cards.
Yeah, absolutely, and looks like for the moment there is nothing in Philip's hand, which is pretty cool, but it is important to highlight the fact that Yomi Mitsurugi is also very good going second, because you have access to so many good tools to try to get rid of the opponent's field, considering the fact that the Mitsurugi cards, I mean, they are so powerful. Once you resolve the ritual, it is so good.
But there is an Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, so Philip does have something here that he wants to use. And Emre shuffling his deck? I don't know, that doesn't feel like too good of a sign when you're shuffling your deck to give it over. Does that mean our turn also is over? Sends one more card. One Ash Blossom stopping the entire turn essentially from Emre, that's massive.
Okay, that's not over yet. Why? Because you still have access to this 5 mana in hand, so you will be able to fuse something away. And
but draw
we
phase.
set a card.
Draw phase prayers is huge. No tribute though, so we're only going to be able to search for a card here if even Emre allows that.
We're going to think about it, and yeah, the flame is being... The flame is being activated, but we have the Ghost Bell on Philip's hand to try to get rid of it, and all of a sudden, I mean, Emre's field doesn't feel that great into the Yomi Mitsurugi strategy, because Philip didn't activate a whole lot yet.
That's definitely true. Ghostbound Haunted Mansion is as popular as ever before, mainly due to that Dracotail deck being the most represented deck in the room. It's so good against it. It has some very solid overlay as well against that Mitsurugi deck as well, and therefore it's one of the most represented hand interactions in everybody's deck here this weekend.
Yeah, and as we're seeing the Habakuri resolve here, it obviously lets you check a little bit for a hand interaction in the form of Ash Blossom and Joy Springs, and there is the Ash Blossom and Joy Springs on the Sargi.
Hey.
But there is Mitsurugi Ritual already! We don't need Sargi to resolve because Ritual was hard drawn. That's huge. Philip completely taking control. He is currently the most consistent player in Europe in this season, and we see here that he is trying his best, and Emre is smiling. He knows he's in trouble.
Yeah, he actually is in a big trouble. We only don't know one card, which is the last card set on Emre's side. But the last card in Emre's hand is, of course, this 5 mana, which will not lead to a whole lot. Emre deciding to Ash Blossom the Sagi, which was, I think, the right decision.
But I mean, that means now 5 mana, if it is activated, we can just chain our Murakumo, so there is no other cards to discard anymore. So 5 mana all of a sudden, not that big of a threat anymore.
And it doesn't do anything, so yeah.
Emre, what is our last set card there? That was the one we set before ending our turn, and maybe, can it help us?
We'll need something great to get out of the situation.
Oh, just destroying the Aphalion, that's not great news. Also resolving the Habakiri that was tributed, so Philip gets even further access to his Mitsurugi cards.
To be fair, this engine is so strong. We've talked about it, but the fact that you are able to resolve the Ritual Mitsurugi is of course very, very strong. You get access to so many resources as well as getting rid of the opponent's field. And I mean, you put a lot of pressure on your opponent because of course he used a lot of cards from his hand, and the fact that the Murakumo makes you discard one other card to just try to resolve your effect is so strong. I mean, the Mitsurugi card, so powerful.
They are, and Emre really only left with that last set card there. It better be a good one. But Philip right now in the driving seat. And you could really tell, like, by the gestures and the faces that Philip is making. Even though he's shaking his head there, he is feeling much better already.
He's shaking his head with the pre-prep plus a call by and everything, so...
fair,
Considering that...
He's a good actor for real, yeah. And there now is Kapsiyami flying onto the field. We have access to both engines. This is the dream scenario. This is where this deck thrives. This is where we search Mitsurugi Yami. And yep, that is another smile on both sides. It's always great. Whenever Emre can be winning or losing, he will always give you a smile. And that's what's so great about him.
I totally agree on this one. And yeah, we can now see the Yami strategy, and I think that this might just be it. Philippe performing his combo, and he will just go through the field spell to try to get back another monster on the field and just keep going. And it's going to be, I guess, probably soon. We have the horn, but no response, and we are going to discard the Urgula.
So this is actually really important because we still have that Feymana in the hand, correct? So we're
going two cards in hand.
Yeah, so we're going for the random draw to. This is the Feymana. We still need 2 more monsters, correct? So I don't think it changes a huge amount.
It looks like Emery doesn't have hand interaction, to be honest.
Snatchy, can Philip snatch away that win here from Emrym? Game 3 going second. Goes for a Synchro Summon now with that Link 1, as we've previously discussed. That is very possible in this deck, of course. That's how this deck is designed to be.
Crucial moment.
Oh, okay, Aphalion. 2 monsters were sent to the graveyard.
This could be huge. Bring back the Aphalion, and then if you have the Feymana in hand, which we already know, and the monster was drawn, we could lead ourselves into another Aphalion to recycle some materials.
Absolutely. We are going to get back 2 monsters from the graveyard, thanks to the effect of the Synchro, but let's see if Emery can activate the Feymana at some point.
Still trying to hold the last resort here against Philip's wall of monsters that keep on getting more and more. Emery just left with that one Aphalion now, but can he turn it into a fusion summon? Can there be another piece of interaction? We will see shortly. But before that, Philip is resolving both effects of his Synchro actually. First, we have Chain to the effect of Aphalion to bring back 2 monsters, but also, of course, Chain Link 1, we declared the effect to Surge as well. So searching 2 Yummy cards here, and then discarding 1 after. Cookie Yummy, one of the 1-offs, and then the Majmau as well, which has not been used this turn yet, but will be discarded to the graveyard. All right. Keeps on Synchro Summoning. Do we just go into the same one again? Probably not, as we have used that on-field effect already. Both of them, actually. So, which one is that going to be? Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
You just bring back 2 other monsters, and it does make a lot of sense. You are just extending a little bit here. Finally! The Feymana is being activated. Do we have something great in hand? What did we draw of the trap card? That is a very good question, and it might as well decide the result of this game.
Pan could be absolutely huge.
True.
Is it Pan?
Emery's got us on the edge of our seats. This is incredible viewing.
Oh, what is it? What is
we're
it,
gonna see it real soon.
Oh, it's just Lucius. It's just
not
Lucius.
the best
That
one,
is a fusion summon. That will not do too much here, right on the spot.
Ooh!
Mysterion Dragon comes in.
That is a very, very good card indeed. The Mysterion being able to just try to banish some monsters of the field of Philip. And yeah, this card, not really seen a lot, but still very, very good in some matchup, especially the Yummy matchup.
Yeah, this can make a bit of a difference, and you can see that Philip reading this card might make a bit of a difference in his kind of route of play from this point on and trying to understand how to navigate around it correctly, if he can correctly. We still need to resolve the Dracotail Lucas as well in the graveyard to set up Emery a possible bit of advantage for the next turn if it does get back there, but it does put a stumbling block in Philip's way for taking this round 13.
Yeah, maybe Philip in his head already was kind of wrapping it up, was kind of just already trying to figure out the finishing touches. Okay, we do now, of course, still also resolve the Lucius. That gives us follow-up for next turn. But Philip ain't done just yet.
And to be honest, I didn't see the Mysterion coming, and of course it was a very, very logical answer. And the fact that...
Oh,
yeah, because
this looks huge, actually.
Yeah, totally, totally. It was probably the only card that allowed Emery to just earn another turn, because you get rid of so many scenes.
He stopped Philip in his tracks completely, and he has to pass it over just with the Murakumo and the set card. And Emery, speaking of set cards, already has, of course, also his K2 Dracotail set there. What are we going to draw here? Oh, also resource in the graveyard. I can see Emery winning this all of a sudden again.
Yeah, totally. Even if there is the Murakumo on the field, of course we are going to activate the effect and try to lower the amount of resources that Emery has in hand. And that's going to be very interesting. Do you choose to discard, or you just let the effect get negated? I think Emery is just thinking about that right now. But there is a world where you just accept it.
Yeah, I think
and you
that's
activate.
it.
Get it.
Retaliating C! We mentioned it, we spoke it into existence here, and there it is, coming out of the hand. The only unknown card remaining there for Philip in his hand, next to a yummy cookie. That's a huge point.
Yeah, absolutely, because
Huge.
Emery, I think that he could very well win this one before the retaliating, but the retaliating is a huge step in the favor of Philip. Of course, getting all your monsters getting banished instead of being in the graveyard. I mean, this is almost impossible to play around that, considering the fact that Emery doesn't have a lot of cards in hand.
Lulu, normal summon. Lulu effect as well.
Is there something?
Philip. Emmer has another card in hand, so seems like we can fusion summon, so it must be another monster. Chaining
Wow,
Mitsurugi, Prayer's Bow, tributes the Murakumo.
Yeah.
Oh, fusion summons.
Oh, it was great. It was so
Actually,
good.
it was such a good one, yeah. It was such an insane one. Searches for the Habakiri, special summons out the Saji. And that Murakumo, even though banished, can still activate its effect to at least search here.
Yeah, what do we go for from Emery's side? We could
That
go
is a good
for.
question.
We've used 2 dragons, so unfortunately Secturion Dragon is off of the table. But then maybe our Phalion being able to get you a bit of resource back could be quite useful. I mean, you've got Lucias in the graveyard. Thaymane's probably not going to do as much for you. We've already used Urgler's effect to try and recycle there. It does become very, very interesting. Taking that Retaliancy off the field is going to be very, very important, but that will guarantee that Philip will have another turn in this duel.
Yeah, absolutely, but I don't really see the winning play over here because we didn't use a whole lot from the hand, so the Arcadian is not going to get some resources back as well as disrupting the opponent. And during the we are going to get the Ash back to try to interrupt Philip during the next turn. But yeah, there is no winning play.